Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining me today, where we get to watch some pretty cool stuff come by the screen here in just a second from the new Tucson Invitational Coin and Currency Expo, where I bought a bunch of new stuff, and we're going to really have fun looking through a bunch of different types of Roman coins. We'll talk about it. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Most of what you're going to see here is stuff that is raw and was put together by somebody years and years ago, 2003, which we're in the 2000s, but man, that's a couple decades already. The biggest knock on this group is that most of these have the soft vinyl flips, and I'll probably have to try to get a little bit of some stuff off of them, and we're going to go from there, but we're going to have fun with these. Most of these are priced and will be probably priced, anywhere from $10 to $20 above whatever this old number is on here. But very cool. This is Platilla. So you can actually make out the names on a lot of these if you look closely enough. Plautille, Platilla. It's right there on the coin. So, and then the AUG AUG. But they'll have different things on the back of them oftentimes. But I won't spend too much time on these guys. I will take the chance to take the time to show you some books. Here we go is a nicer example. Also, Platilla, she was the wife of Caracalla, murdered in 212 AD. Murder. It gets worse, guys. Just hang out for a bit. You'll find out. This is a really nice example. And you can see the lettering a little bit better right there. And I debated on whether or not to show you all the ones that I thought I might keep. Sometimes you people ask what I keep still, but this has the same design as the previous coin with all the lettering on it. You can see her wavy hair, her dress. So the stuff that I keep, very few coins do I have that I've had for a couple decades. And among them are Roman coins, specifically with females on them. And this looks like there's a baby being held back here, or a young emperor perhaps. So, oh, maybe I should say, just read it. Piety, pietous standing and holding a child and a scepter. And then these here will be the reference numbers for different reference numbers. So, very cool. So I have coins that I was keeping, and mostly I was collecting the ladies, because it was ladies' night. And here's a Julia Domna. And what's cool about this is you can buy a lot of this type of stuff for not a ton of money. Old silver denarii with lots of cool designs. Here's Pietas again on the back. I mean, 60, 70 bucks on cool old denarii, which, by the way, if you get proficient enough and you start looking online, you can find some of this stuff on eBay, and a lot of it's not too expensive. You can kind of cherry pick there. This is Faustina Jr. Really cool piece, a little bit of some toning on there, a little bit of mint luster left even, I'd say. There's two Faustinas, senior and junior. This one they said the second. The second, she always has her hair in the bun on her coins. We got some dudes here too, don't worry. I'm not sexist. And what's fun, you get to find places that may or may not exist anymore. I don't know if DME Numismatics in Austin, Texas is still around. Trajan Decius. So the lettering sometimes just kind of blur to the rim, giving it that effect where it just doesn't, you kind of don't know what the lettering looks like. It's like incomplete lettering, and you kind of get used to it after a while and start to learn how to read what it is. What's fun is just all the different designs that you run into on these guys. So the book that I got to pitch really quick is, by all means, 0.5, is to get the Handbook of Roman Imperial Coins. This book is super fantastic by David Van Meter, and it's really down to the basic level. So it talks about different mint abbreviations. It runs through the denominations for us. So aureus, quinarius, denarius, quinarius, sestercius, dupondus, as, semis, quandrus, and gives the weights and the values and how they relate to each other, which is pretty cool. And then the way that it's formatted after that, and it's got some pictures of some stuff. The way it's formatted after that is you get into, once you get into the actual emperors, here's the lexicon. It talks about what these different things are. So, for example, we were looking at Pietus. Let me see here. Let me remember that P comes before, R. So if you look, you're going to see that Pietus, the personification of devotion to the gods, one's duties of the state and the emperor. Pietus was sometimes used not just as an imperial attribute, but as a general or a specific call to duty, normally depicted as veiled, usually sacrificing from a patera over an altar. So the extra description here of all those things, and then eventually you get into the actual catalog, and the actual catalog goes in chronological order. So you start to see one ruler after another in chronological order. So, and then you get to read, there's a little biography for each of them, and it's super fascinating. The little mini biographies are really, really cool. Here is another, this is a Faustina, another Faustina Jr., the hair up in a bun. Also a pretty good coin as far as the overall detail goes on that. Let's see what we got here. Philip. Yeah, Philip the Arab. You can see right there, I saw Philip. I also recognize some of them by face a little bit. It actually just says Philip right there, but some of them look pretty similar. After a while, I get confused. I got to stop and look them back up again. So what's fun is you get names that you've never heard of before, and people you didn't know existed. This is a lovely, lovely piece here. Any guesses as to what her name is? That's funny. But you can see this also, like I was saying before, you see the green stuff? That's got to come off. That's got to come off. So this is Herenia Etrusilla. But so the difference between buying raw and slab is very interesting when it comes to the Roman coins and ancient coins in general, because for a lot of people, the Roman and Greek ancient market has come up quite a bit, mostly because of certified coins. And so having coins that are not certified is very intimidating for most people. I liked this group because it had all these old backups with them. So I felt pretty confident about what they all were. And generally, if you go to a coin show and you've got a guy who does ancients, he'll have stuff like this in a similar price point that, generally speaking, if he does a lot of shows and whatnot, you can usually kind of spot the professionals from the guys that are kind of fly-by-night. Because when you pick up a coin, they'll be able to say, oh, Galenius, and then they'll say, oh, that was so-and-so's brother or son. Like, a lot of those guys really know that stuff. I don't have any of that memorized. I don't have HBO. I haven't watched the series. But I do have the Roman Handbook of Roman Imperial Coins, and I can look up stuff in there. Here's a platilla. And so this one is an example of, so the old silver, it would crystallize and break off. It's got a little chunk taken out of the edge there. But also a little bit of environmental damage on this guy. Concordia. But I can't say enough about it, just how down to earth that book is by David Van Meter. It just, you can just read it, and it's not like some work that's hard to understand. Here's a Julia Domina. Hers are always pretty easy to spot, just because that Julia is really bold. There are several Julias involved. Julia Gulia is not one of them. But one of the ones that I might keep here actually is this one here. I know this is a woman. She's kind of mannish, except for her hair in a tight, uh, as I say, bun. But buns, everything is escaping me here. So this is Julia Titi, and what's fascinating about her is just how scarce her coins are. I think he's holding a dove on the back there. Venus. So, like I said, this book is chronological, and I went ahead and pulled up from the family of Titus. This is the entire thing about Julia Titi. That's it. She had a gold aureus, 2 denarii, 1 sestertius, and 1 dupondus. That's everything. Then you get to Domitian, and each of these is a different obverse type, obverse legend. So they show you what words are on the coins. And you just have pages of this stuff. Look at this. Born in 65 AD, married her cousin Flavius Sabinus. He was executed for treason under Domitian in 84 AD. After this, Julia lived with Domitian, her uncle, as a mistress, and she died from complications following an abortion in 91 AD, and was deified later that year. So I don't know if the coins, this doesn't explain if the coins were produced after the deification or not, but like, that's just brutal stuff, man, just brutal stuff. This is a cool piece. So this little, who do we have here? This one's, I don't know that that's labeled quite right, but the coin itself had a really cool look to it. So I'll have to look that up again. Part of the legend's running off the top there. But look at the toning on that guy. That's cool. Let's see. Let me grab a couple more things here. Here's a Commodus. I'm going to grab a few that you may or may not know here. We'll move on. You know, when they talk about, so when NGC grades coins, they start talking about strike and surface quality, so that this type of thing has a lower surface quality to it. You know, a little bit, looks like maybe it was a field find that got acid washed to get some of the junk off of it, you know, because there's a lot of little elements of corrosion there. This guy is not identified, but anytime you have like these thicker pieces, it's hard for me to describe exactly, but this is usually stuff that was struck in or at or for Egypt or one of the African mints. So those thicker looks, because it'll look like a Greek coin because it'll be thicker, but then it'll be Roman. So, you know, the Greeks had thicker coins. But so there's still some research to be done on some of these guys here, but most of them were already worked up. Look at this Julia Paula. Isn't that pretty? You know, what's not to like about that? And so the I is a J. Julia Paula. You can even see like how the hair was tied back and strung together. So I think I had started, and there's a Concordia, started to talk about the NGC and how they grade stuff and kind of the price points on things. So, you know, lots of times when you see something raw, it's a better deal, but also there's lots of people, they just want certified. It would, you know, basically if I took the time to send some of these off and get them certified, I'd probably just break even on that effect. I mean, I'd probably add a little bit of, you know, if it cost me 35 or 40 bucks, so this coin is 60 bucks. So the next thing you know, this would be a $100 coin. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, people just kind of recoup their cost. There are some things that sell for a little bit extra. Oh, there's a couple little tykes on this one. Look at that. So this is Solinia Milan. And so Antoninianus, so this is the size. All these guys that are like the smaller ones, this is similar in size, are denarii. but then I had some of these guys that were a little bit broader, and that's an Antoninianus. And these guys, I've seen all of a sudden, I think they were calling them double denarius, but I don't understand why, because I've always known them as Antoninianus. You know, that's just a thing. Oh, this one's cool. Yeah, this one, this one's not for sale. Look at that. That's the best way, by the way, to sell something. Look how pretty that is. And the thing that's hard on ancients is that you'll have, like on this coin here, you'll have one side that is struck lovely, and then the other side that is kind of flat and mushy. But the obverse is just stunning on that coin. Lorilla, wife of Elverus. I don't know if I have a Lorilla, but I definitely don't have that Julia Titi. That one's I'm probably going to just hold on to, just because I'm pretty sure I don't have one. Julia Mesa, there's Julia Domina, Julia Mamea. There's a lot of Julias. Lots of Julias out there for sure. And so if you want to, I mean, you can collect stuff however you want to, but if you just want one example of a coin, you go for it. If you want to try to collect a certain series, such as, you know, certain rulers or certain time periods, or some people just collect by, you know, they want a certain reverse type. You know, you can collect all that. Some people only collect items that are related to a certain region. Here's Crispina. She's the wife of Commodus. Yeah, that coin has definitely seen better days. That one's rough. Rough. So this is that difference once again between a denarius on the right and an Antoninianus on the left. It's Philip. Let me see if I got anything else that I really got to show you on here. Maybe something that's a little bit higher grade Antoninianus, like this guy here. You know, they get a little bit of mint luster on them still. Really nicely struck flange, so like it has all the design on it on both sides. So this will happen with US coins, by the way, when you see it like a coin struck on the wrong planchet or out of collar, and that design area flows out and gets mushy. You see all those flow lines on there? Arrhenius etrusus. Interesting. I'll have to look that one up here. This says it's Hadrian restoring Galea. So this one I think is a very, you know, coins were struck as commemoratives. I mean, sometimes they were just for circulation, but also they were commemorating things. So that's a lovely piece. And it says it right on it. And then, you know, you can look it up and see the history. You know, I'd have to go find Hadrian. Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll call it a day on this guy. But I'm going to see if I can use the book here, just like we talked about. So I'm going to look up Hadrian. So what I'm going to do to get to Hadrian, of course, I'm going to, because they're not alphabetical, they're chronological. But in the back, the general index, I can find, if I remember that H comes after G, Hadrian's on pages 115 to 120 and 125. 115 and 125. Let's find that. All right. Hadrian on 125. And you can see that he's got a lot of different listings here. So he's got, looks like 4 different aureuses, but then there are a bunch of different denarii. And what they'll have is, this will be the coin type is the first number, and then the second is going to be the reverse legend type. So we wanted Hadrian. Let me grab that again real quick. So we do our research. Let's see how research works here. If we can find the Hadrian, the Restaurante. Oh, I gotta find the obverse. Silly Ben. This is the obverse legends on this side. And then it's the reverse. So the obverse was the Hadrianus Og cause. And then after that, I gotta look and see. Hadrian Og cause. Triple IPP. Yeah, triple IPP. So that means that it is Hadrian Og cause triple IPP. So it's obverse number 5. Let's see here. This is, see how many pages of Hadrian we have? We have pages and pages of Hadrian. This is actually also when in doubt, you know, look for pictures. That's the funniest thing ever. Oh man. We have pages and pages and pages of Hadrian. So we got to stay with the denarii and see if we can find the right coin. Well, guys, I thought I was looking up something that was going to be like really right in front of my face. But also, just as a for what it's worth, that is generally how looking things up will take time. Restaurate. I think we're going to edit out the research section here because it ain't working. It ain't working. All right, guys, one last coin here. I just want to show you this really high-grade Caracalla. Just kind of a neat, another well-struck piece. See all the beard action. Very Roman looking, very Roman looking. Just a lovely, lovely coin. And fare thee well, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.